Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your seats. Let me, first of all, apologize to each and everyone for being quite late, I must say. It is not in my habit, but I had to face a heavy traffic jam and also to attend to a few issues regarding Parliament, which is sitting this morning, and ensure that everything is set for my absence in Parliament today, and I apologize for that. It took more time than I expected, and before we start our session, we had the Bureau meeting of this morning and discussed several issues, including the timetable of the committee's work. And the revised timetable is now published on the 13Com website. Yesterday, we successfully concluded items 1 to 7A, including item 10B41, not foreseen on our initial timetable. I'm sure you will all agree that the two Koreas case is an extraordinary achievement of our convention. Keeping the good atmosphere, let us now concentrate on the rest of our business. Given that we did not manage to complete examination of item 7B today, we will begin by resuming our debate on 7B, and I expect to adopt the decision as a whole for each of the reports. Then we will move to the items 7C, 8 to be concluded this morning. In the afternoon, we will examine item 9, and if everything goes according to the revised schedule, we will then move to the report of the evaluation body. This report will keep us busy until Friday morning. Dear colleague, before we resume the examination of 7B, allow me to give the floor to Norway as observer. I was informed that Norway wished to intervene yesterday, but was not given the floor. Norway, please accept our apologies. We did not see your nameplate at the right moment. The floor is now yours. Norway.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, for giving us the floor today. First of all, we wish to thank Mauritius for a warm welcome and a great hospitality. We also want to thank the Secretariat for an excellent work you are doing. In the report from the Secretariat, you highlight some of this important work. Norway are pleased to see that the Secretariat are planning for actions to raise awareness about ICH among organizations and stakeholders working on issues related to indigenous peoples, especially communication activities to be held during the 18th session of the UN's Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues in 2019 is of importance. It may be interesting for the Secretariat, for the committee, the observers, and the NGOs to be informed that our colleague from the Sami Parliament is joining the Norwegian delegation here in Mauritius. We are really looking forward to exchange ideas and practices with you all the next days. Thank you again, Mr. Chair, for giving us the opportunity to come with this announcement.
Thank you, Norway, and thank you for your very kind words. Let us now resume our examination on item 7B, examination of the reports of state parties on the current status of elements inscribed on the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding. Yesterday, we were able to listen to the presentation from the Secretary on the overview of the 16th report. We also had the time for a few interventions from the floor. Let us now move to the individual decisions. The first was submitted by Azerbaijan on Chovkan, a traditional Karabakh horse riding game in the Republic of Azerbaijan. May I have the draft decision up on the screen, please?
You have to say we have received an amendment. You have to say we have received.
Let me, at the very outset, state that we have received a draft amendment from the Republic of Armenia. And I don't know if is it going to be shown on the screen? Or will Armenia take the floor, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I make explanation of our position regarding this draft decision? Mr. Chairman, with reference to the agenda item 7B, we would like to state the following. Contrary to the purpose and the spirit of UNESCO, and particularly the Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage, and the latest efforts of the Director General Audrey Azoulay to depoliticize UNESCO agenda, we must clearly acknowledge that Azerbaijan continues politicizing this framework and abusing it with the aim of extending dividing lines also in sphere of culture. Contrary to the mentioned decisions, which you will see in our draft amendments, the report of Azerbaijan presented by the draft decision 13-7B1 on the status of the element Chovgan is full of ungrounded, false, and inappropriate allegations targeting my country. Instead of focusing on the topic of its report, namely the Chovgan game, Azerbaijan has spared no efforts to somehow connect again to the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict and thus introduce its ill-minded conflict narrative in the report. We resolutely reject all allegations contained therein, which fully contradict the reality and the position of the international community, which is reflected in the statements of OSCE Minsk Group co-chairs, the only internationally agreed format dealing with the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. When Azerbaijan inscribed Chovgan, a traditional Karabakh horse riding game in the Republic of Azerbaijan back in 2013, the decision for which was undertaken in Baku, we warned the committee and the Secretariat that this is a politicized and very sensitive nomination. We were told that there was nothing political in the nomination. However, the report on the status of the element presented by Azerbaijan illustrates that the concerns of the Armenian side were fully justified. Azerbaijan indeed pursued an exclusively political aim of speculating the very name of Karabakh, thus proving our concerns. Armenia reiterates its principal position on unacceptability of misusing the platform of UNESCO to promote any conflict perceptions. We strongly believe that issues which belong to the conflict resolution should be addressed within their respective formats and should not be used and include UNESCO for blame games and thus impede international cooperation. We call on the state parties and also members of the Intergovernmental Committee to react to the irresponsible conduct of the Azerbaijani side. Taking into account the above mentioned, Armenia requests Secretariat to return the report to the relevant state for corrections and adjustments to the norms and principles of the ICH Convention and operational directives for the implementation of the Convention in accordance with the decisions 9.5a and also draft decision 5.6. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Azerbaijan, you wish to... Wait.
Please explain where are they prepared
And-
to change the whole draft decision with this? Is this their proposal?
You mean that you wish to replace the initial draft decision and replace by this one, or to include, please?
Mostly not all the paragraphs, but as you see, we would like to include these paragraphs in the draft decision, and also we will work on the draft decision of the original version and delete some paragraphs as well. So if you want to incorporate, we can work on the text as it is, or to discuss Armenia's draft amendments as proposed.
If they would like us to study paragraph by paragraph.
Do you wish that we go paragraph by paragraph, or are you coming with some amendment, or?
We would like to open the draft decision of Azerbaijan paragraph by paragraph.
Paragraph by paragraph. Yes, I understand that Azerbaijan wishes to just take the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, dear members of the committee. Yesterday, we agreed to postpone this draft decision to the deliberation on this item with a clear understanding and that delegation Armenia will abide by common sense and will refrain from inserting politically motivated amendments to the draft decision. But again, I think we failed in our expectations. Almost 3 years that the Armenia is, as a committee member, is trying, misusing its membership rights in the committee and hijacking the session by introducing very politically motivated issues to the agenda, and I believe that the committee should not be taken hostage of this agenda, political agenda, which is mainly used for the domestic consumption. But when it comes to the allegations that delegation of Armenia just right now voiced, I would like to say that this is a national report, and this report is presented in conformity with the obligation to report on the element inscribed on the urgent safeguarding list every 4 years after the inscription. So Azerbaijan made a huge effort to involve all stakeholders, including the community representatives concerned with the element in the preparation of this report. What methodology we used during the preparation of this report? We collected the data from all stakeholders through the surveys and interviews. And according to the information that we have received from the community members, which are mainly those persons that are practicing this heritage, subjected to the forcibly displaced situation because of the military conflict and the occupation of the territories. So the factual information that the report presents, the report presents the factual information and the concerns expressed by the communities practicing the Chovgan game. So in these interviews and the surveys, the communities explicitly raised their concerns with the scarcity of the Karabakh horse breed, playing an important role in this game. And this fact is outlined in the nomination dossier and the in report very clearly. And this scarcity of the Karabakh horses is closely linked with the destruction of the horse breeding factory in Agdam, which had played a huge role in sustaining the breed and the game in the past. And this factory is right now under the occupation and beyond the control of Azerbaijan. Concerning the inconsistency with the UN Charter, I would like to draw the attention to one of the fundamental principles of the international law, which is the territorial integrity. We wish to remind that Article 2.4 of the UN Charter states that all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. In the case of safeguarding Chovgan game, the intangible heritage element bears in itself the direct consequences of the act of occupation by another state against its integrity. This state preventing the access of communities concerned to the natural environment of the game. And as I said, this was made very clearly by the communities during the interview process and the surveys done by the Ministry of Culture of the Republic of Azerbaijan during the preparation of the report. I would like also to remind the committee that this convention is a community-based convention, and it is one of the fundamental principles of the 2003 convention is to give the voice to the communities and respect their views on how the viability of the heritage is safeguarded. So Azerbaijan has closely followed this principle, and this has been duly reflected in the report. When it comes to the inconsistency with the nomination and the report, let me tell you that in the nomination, it was explicitly reflected that the following threats impacted the viability of the element. First, decrease the number of trainers and practitioners. Second, the devaluation of the cultural value of Chovgan as a traditional practice in the past. Third, urbanization processes within the country. And most importantly, fourth, shortage of horses of Karabakh breed. I can tell you that out of these four threats, two are indirectly or directly impacted by the military conflict and subsequent occupation of the territories. Namely, the urbanization process, as the communities that practice this element were forcibly displaced from their natural environment and forced to change their location. And second, as I said earlier, the destruction of horse breeding factory, which led to the shortage of the Karabakh horses, which is one of the important elements of this game. So this is why the report, among other threats, is clear about the fact that the natural environment of Karabakh breed horses is de facto beyond the control. I would also advise to our colleagues from Armenia to look at the item which is presented by the Secretariat on the intangible cultural heritage in emergencies. So there they will find a very clear information how conflicts and displaced and forcible displaced of the communities negatively impact the viability of the elements. Then I think they will have no questions about how the conflict in Karabakh and subsequent occupation impacted negatively the viability of Chovgan Karabakh horse riding game. So we just followed the feedback of our communities that explicitly mentioned these threats. I thank you very much. And I would like to add that my delegation, with this in mind, my delegation totally rejects the amendments by the delegation of Armenia, and we would appreciate that the committee will stick to the technical decision proposed by the Secretariat. I don't think that it is right place, right moment for us to get embroiled in these political debates and thus contaminating our committee and contaminating the spirit of this convention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Armenia, for your statement.
No, Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan, for your statement. I see that there is Armenia and Palestine who wishes to take the floor. I'll just give the floor to Armenia. And please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to make some remarks regarding the statement which was beforehand. When we talk about non-contaminating this committee, we should watch our own actions. In this case, the actions of the state which represented this report. We don't think that this is just a purely technical report because the name Karabakh, as we already said, is used only for political reasons. I would like to pose a question to the Secretariat. When they received the report, almost 10 paragraphs of which refer to the conflict and also contains a language which is not accepted by the international community. How was their perception? How did Secretariat accept this kind of report? When we talk about intangible cultural heritage, Armenia stands ready to support any kind of nominations besides political ones. When we talk about conflict and its root causes, and when we think about UN Charter, we should think about Article 1 of your Charter, which talks about the fundamental human rights and freedoms of people, their rights to self-determination, and also their full rights to enjoy their cultural, educational rights as well. So in this case, we want to reiterate that this is not about military occupation. The conflict has a different roots, and we should stick to a Minsk co-chairs format, and this is the only format that this conflict should be addressed within. So we think that the Chovgan game, which is included in Azerbaijan's inventory, national inventory as Chovgan game, made up as if they play Chovgan game only with Karabakh horses, is just a political misinterpretation of the element. In the sense regarding the communities, when we talk about communities, we should not forget about the communities who lived there and were forcibly removed. So this is regarding the points raised by this member state. And I would like to reiterate again, this is not Armenia who wants to put committee into political games and also UNESCO. We would like to reiterate our position that this report is unacceptable. We do accept that this is national report made on behalf of this member state, but this report is unacceptable. None of the paragraphs within which I have presented are accepted by our country. This contains just one-sided allegations which have to be removed. So I reiterate our position not to have a precedent for the future, to return this report and to adjust it to the norms. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Palestine.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je pense qu'on peut passer toute la journée à entendre les deux parties dialoguer, entre guillemets. Malheureusement, j'ai de l'expérience dans ce genre de débat, dans ce genre de situation. C'est malheureux, mais c'est comme ça. Et je pense qu'on peut passer la journée, on n'arrivera pas à un consensus. Par conséquent, on a entendu les deux parties, on comprend bien la position de chacun, et je ne pense pas qu'on va résoudre le problème ici. Par contre, pour avancer notre travail, moi, je demande la clôture du débat et je demande l'adoption de la décision telle qu'elle est, et je vous demande de prendre note et d'inclure dans votre rapport oral les deux statements qu'on a entendus de l'Arménie et de l'Azerbaïdjan, et on peut inclure tout ce qui a été dit et tout ce qui a été soumis par les deux parties. Merci, Monsieur le Président. Et j'espère que les autres collègues me soutiennent. Merci.
Okay. There is a move to closure, and do we... Philippine, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. And we also have listened very closely to the debate. We take note of the important statements made. Our colleague from Palestine moved to close the debate, which we second in accordance with Rule 32 of the Rules of Procedure. Thank you.
Djibouti, please.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Juste pour dire que je suis d'avis avec la Palestine et la Philippines.
Après, il y a deux. Allow me to read the rules.
Excusez-moi, Djibouti, vous allez pouvoir répéter, s'il vous plaît?
Merci, Monsieur le Président. C'était pour dire que je soutenais la position de la Philippine et de la Palestine.
And we just give the floor to the Secretariat to know what is the way forward in the light of the motion of Palestine, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. A reference was made to Rule 32, closure of debate. Rule 32 says a state member of the committee may at any time move the closure of the debate, whether or not any other speaker has signified his or her wish to take part in the discussion. If application is made for permission to speak against the closure, it may be accorded to not more than 2 speakers. The chairperson would then have to put the motion for closure. Therefore, the chairperson may wish to ask if there's application against closure of the debate.
Yes. In line with the rule which has just been read by the Secretariat, I'll have to now know if there is any member against the motion of closure as presented by Palestine and seconded by Philippines and also Djibouti. Yes, Armenia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We would like to reiterate our position to discuss the draft amendments presented by Armenia and not to consider Azerbaijan's report only. So regarding the debate, we will ask for the floor again regarding the amendments presented by Armenia.
No, which means that you are against the closure of the debate. You should put it clearly, so that.
Is anybody else? Does anybody else?
Yes. Is the motion of Armenia seconded?
So the debate has to be closed.
In that case, I understand that we have to close the debate on that score.
There is no secondment. There is no secondment.
We have got 2 motions, one for closure, seconded by 2 members, and Armenia, who is against the closure of the debate. In that case, I have to close the debate according to the rules.
The decision is suspended and we continue. This debate is closed. The decision is suspended and we continue to the next item. And the debate will be. Okay. Don't say the decision. Just say we close the debate.
Debate suspended. In line with the rules, debate on this subject is suspended, and we will have to move to the next item on our agenda for today. Armenia. Azerbaijan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we close the debates, but we have to proceed to the adoption of the decision. The decision is still not yet adopted, so we have to proceed to the adoption of the decision. So we close the debate, but the adoption of the decision is still pending. So I seek your indulgence and ruling in line with how the members of the committee expressed their views. So we close the debates, but we will proceed to the adoption of the decision. And according to the established practice, the amendments proposed by the one delegation should be backed and supported by the half of the committee members. This is the established practice. Thank you.
No, in that case, we go to the amendment, and of course, then the debate is suspended, but we'll have to consider the different paragraphs, and of course, then we'll have to know the decision of the committee. Which means that we are going to go paragraph by paragraph while the debate is suspended. Yes, Palestine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now I'll refer to another rule in the rules of procedure asking the adjournment of the debate on this item. I'm not going to say it's sine die, but maybe we can say till tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Now Palestine comes with another motion for the adjournment of the debate on this particular item. Now we have another
one may speak in favor,
motion.
one may speak against the motion.
And according to the rules, we can have one member speaking against and one in favor of the motion. I see Armenia, who catch my attention, and then Azerbaijan. Yes, Armenia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we proceed with deliberations, adjournment, or consideration of our draft amendments, I have posed a question to the Secretariat regarding receiving the report and also actually the paragraph therein, and I didn't receive any reply. So I want to see the clear position of the Secretariat regarding the reporting system, how it's done, and what kind of language is considered irrelevant or relevant. Thank you.
Though that the debate is closed, I believe that yes, Azerbaijan on a point of order.
Mr. Chairman, I think we close the debate. There is no room to ask the questions and to repeat the questions and to seek the answers to these questions. I think with your wise ruling, I would propose to put the amendments presented by the delegation of Armenia to the committees consideration, and that's it, without any debates on the amendments, on explanation of these amendments, why they presented it. It is already done by them. So what we need is that you will present the amendments that submitted by the Republic of Armenia to the committee members for their consideration and support or not support, and that's it.
In fact, the debate is now closed, but if there is any member who objects to any clarification being offered by the Secretariat, I can't go against the rules. But we are now in the presence of another motion from Palestine for the adjournment of the debate on this issue. I wish to know, yes, Palestine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It seems that even if we leave time for discussion and mediation between the two parties, it wouldn't be efficient. So in that case, just for the sake of time and in order to avoid wasting time, because if we go now paragraph by paragraph, there might be vote on some paragraphs one by one, and this will take time. In that case, I request a secret ballot on the adoption of the DR as it is or amended? This is the question. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Now we have a formal motion from Palestine.
Point of order.
Yes, point of order from Azerbaijan.
Yes, I appreciate the efforts of our colleagues from Palestine, but I don't see the sense of having a secret ballot on this. If there is a clear procedure established in this committee that amendments presented by the delegation are being discussed by the committee, and if there are support of the committee, then it is accepted and adopted. If there is no support to these amendments, they are not supported. So why we should complicate and go to the secret ballot or voting, etc.? There is no need for that.
Sorry, sir. Yeah, actually,
Yes. Kuwait, please.
Good morning. This is the first time we take the floor, and it's not the time to say thank you to everyone. The debate is heated. I think we are complicating the things by going, to an option over an option. What I see, we had Rules 32, it was approved, the debate is closed. We have a report has been submitted by a state country, and we have a draft amendment submitted by another state countries. Let's take a decision on this. So you have the report, and you have an amendment. So either the amendment accepted or not, without going in more complicated issues. Thank you, Mr. President.
Kuwait.
So he's proposing we look at the amendment and see whether it's accepted. Ask him.
Yes, the first issue now is that we have a report. We have Armenia coming with amendment to the report, which we have on in front of us. But do we have a member seconding the motion of amendment as presented by Armenia?
Okay, 1 minute. So
We are now discussing the amendment proposed by Armenia.
just 1 minute, please.
Yes, Kuba.
Okay, we need to understand.
Sí, gracias, señor presidente. Hemos estado siguiendo el debate, hay muchas propuestas sobre la mesa, pero sería importante que usted definiera también si vamos a ir párrafo por párrafo, porque ahora estamos viendo un grupo de enmiendas, pero sería bueno conocer cuál va a ser el procedimiento que usted propone o que usted sugiere para examinar el proyecto de decisión, que históricamente lo vemos párrafo por párrafo. Y si en algún párrafo hay una enmienda, pues esa enmienda se propone en ese párrafo. Pero yo le propondría, por favor, que tengamos un orden en el momento de adoptar el proyecto de decisión. Muchas gracias.
Yes, Philippine, point of order.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairperson. Just, I think our colleague from Cuba, I think, said the correct way forward. Also, in view of the views of the states parties concerned, maybe the best thing is to, and for transparency, to go paragraph by paragraph at this stage and do the usual procedure of the committee. Thank you.
Palestine.
thank you, Mr. Chair. It seems that my proposal was badly understood, and it seems to be more clear to go paragraph by paragraph, even if it will take time. So I support going paragraph by paragraph. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. We go paragraph. Armenia, yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we would like to go paragraph by paragraph,
Exactly.
and also we would like, with your permission, to make clarifications regarding our draft amendments if necessary. Thank you.
Okay. To move, as there is consensus now that we are going to consider paragraph by paragraph the amendment proposed by Armenia. Can we have it on the screen, please? Having examined document ITH 1813-7B, any amendment to paragraph 1? I see no amendment. Accepted. Recalling chapter 5 of the operational directives and its decision 8-7A1. Any objection? Approved. expresses its thanks to Azerbaijan, Armenia.
Takes note of the report, timely submitted report. So we would like to delete expresses its thanks because we cannot thank Azerbaijan for such a politically biased report. So takes note of the report.
We have now the amendment proposed by
It's coming.
Armenia, which appears on the...
No, it's not ready. Just he's still doing it. But
Okay.
ask for the floor.
I'm waiting for it to be properly drafted and presented on the screen. I give the floor to Cuba.
No,
No, Azerbaijan first and then Cuba.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I again rely on your wise ruling. I think if we will go by paragraph, we will be stuck in this presenting the amendments to the new amendments that were not in the presented before. Right now, they're presenting new amendments. So let's adopt the decision. Let's consider the amendments that initially presented by the Republic of Armenia in substance, and then if it is accepted or not, then we can go forward with the rest.
Kuwait, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I haven't seen in front of me a draft amendment saying to go paragraph by paragraph. All I saw is to return the report to the state party, and I think we should take decision on that. I haven't seen anything written saying, to go paragraph by paragraph. So to be legally correct in our decisions. So the draft submitted by one of the state parties, Armenia, is to return the report.
Cuba.
Sí, gracias, señor presidente. Quisiera hacer una pregunta a la Secretaría, porque tenemos que tener cuidado cuál es la media que utilizamos y el lenguaje que utilizamos para todos los proyectos de decisión y para todos los países que presentan informes. O sea, podríamos estar cayendo en una singularización cuando normalmente lo que se le pide, se le expresa a los estados es el agradecimiento por presentar este informe. Entonces, yo creo que tendríamos que cuidar un poco también las formas y no crear precedentes que cambien o modulen el lenguaje que normalmente utilizamos para estas decisiones, y le pedimos a Armenia que quizás reflexione un poco sobre esto. Hay enmiendas de fondo que pueden ser examinadas, pero también hay un lenguaje acordado que se utiliza para todas las decisiones, y podríamos estar creando un precedente de cara a los próximos, a las otras decisiones que tienen que ver con informes de otros Estados miembros. Muchas gracias.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Armenia.
With regard to the comment made by a delegate from Kuwait, I would like to make it clear that committee member can make any amendments to the draft decision at any point. Thank you.
I believe there is general consensus that we should go paragraph by paragraph. And we have now a motion to amend paragraph 3. And we have also the views of Cuba, which states that we should be very cautious whenever we are amending so that we don't create any bad precedent. This is where I understand the situation is right now. Insofar as Azerbaijan is concerned, we agreed that there has been broad consensus that we should go paragraph by paragraph, and this is how I believe we should be proceeding. Okay, Palestine, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Of course, if we go paragraph by paragraph, it will take time and it will be puzzling, but I support the intervention of our colleague from Cuba. This is a technical issue, and for the other draft decisions relating to the reports, it will be adopted, as you mentioned, as a whole, since it is a technical decision. And the language, I agree, it is a standard language. So I support keeping the standard language and the character of this decision as a technical one. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
But do we have any secondment to the motion of Armenia, first of all? Because what I understand now is that we have a motion to remove expresses its thanks. Cuba has some reservation, Palestine has some reservation, but we still do not have a secondment to the initial motion. This is what I understand at this stage. Because we can't consider any motion without it being seconded, first of all. Cuba, please.
Una clarificación. Gracias, señor presidente. No nos cuestionamos el derecho que tiene cada delegación de modificar cada palabra de un proyecto de decisión, y quiero aclararlo a la distinguida colega de Armenia. Es un derecho que tenemos todos los estados de cambiar cada palabra. Eso lo respetamos y por eso estamos de acuerdo que fuera párrafo por párrafo. Pero a lo que nos referimos es a otra cosa. Y quizás yo no me expresé bien. Nos referimos a un lenguaje acordado y un lenguaje que utilizamos para la adopción de estos informes, y que hay otros informes en el documento que estamos aprobando. Por eso apelamos a la delegación de Armenia que comprenda que es un tema de formas y no de fondos. Y eso quería clarificar. Muchas gracias.
Yes, Armenia.
Thank you very much for distinguished delegate of Cuba for her constructive proposals. But I would like to ask something to all the members of the Intergovernmental Committee. We are talking about not making any precedents change thanks to takes note, which is more, I do agree, of a technical issue, but in this case is not. But what if we are adopting a decision and accepting this kind of biased and political report? And I'm quite sure that all the members have received the non-paper of Armenia and also all the paragraphs of the language within. So I think this is another precedent for UNESCO to have this kind of report adopted. So this is a question. And we think that we should not come to this issue as just purely technical thing, but we should go into depths of the report. Thank you.
May I just remind all members that we have closed the debate. The debate is closed, but now we are coming to the amendment. And we should not, from the back door, now open a debate which has been closed, in whatever you state. Now, is there a secondment to the amendment as proposed by Armenia? I take good note of what Cuba stated. The member made her point clear. She clarified her point, that she is agreeable that we should go paragraph by paragraph, but having regard to what has been the standard, she just raised some concern. But it is still premature for me to debate on a motion for amendment if we don't have a secondment on that motion. It is not seconded so far.
Yes, so you have to. Is there a secondment or not? No, is there a secondment?
Is there a secondment to the motion of Armenia as you have it now, to delete expresses its thanks to Azerbaijan to submitting on time the first, and replacing by takes note of the report submitted by Azerbaijan? We have here a formal motion from Armenia to that effect.
There's no secondment. Okay,
if there is no secondment, we can't debate this issue further. Is there any other Cuba?
Gracias, señor presidente. Comprendo la intención de facilitar nuestras decisiones, pero no podemos simular una votación. Creo que todos sabemos que tenemos un derecho a pronunciarnos a favor o en contra de una enmienda, pero corresponderá a usted hacer la lectura de esta sala porque corremos el riesgo de parecer que estamos en una votación cuando impugnamos si estamos a favor o en contra de una propuesta, aunque no tengamos una urna o no tengamos una boleta en la mano. Confiamos en su lectura, que estoy segura que hará correcta del consenso que hay en esta sala. Muchas gracias.
Notre ami de Djibouti veut intervenir.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. La République de Djibouti participe pour la première fois au comité intergouvernemental, quand bien même dans le passé nous avons été parmi les pays invités par l'UNESCO comme observateurs. Néanmoins, donc, disposant d'une certaine expérience en la matière, j'ai constaté depuis les différentes sessions du comité intergouvernemental qu'à chaque fois, le terme exprimer ses remerciements était un terme conventionnel, qui c'était plus ou moins un peu accepté généralement. Donc, je ne sais pas pourquoi aujourd'hui, pour des raisons autres que techniques, on voudrait changer en incluant prendre note, au lieu de dire d'accepter d'avoir exprimé ses remerciements. Par la suite, s'il y a des amendements à faire, on peut les faire de manière un peu plus approfondie.
Mais il n'y a pas de débat à ce stade. À ce stade, il n'y a pas de débat. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're just beginning the discussion on the draft decision, and it could take a very, very long time. So just to try to facilitate our work, but to also keep, the traditional standards of transparency and efficiency in the committee, we would like to make a procedural suggestion that the distinguished delegate of Armenia could kindly present all her amendments to the draft decision as a whole, and then the committee then, as a whole, look at the package of amendments and decides whether to accept them or not. This might facilitate our work, and then we could swiftly move forward. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Palestine.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je pense que la proposition de notre collègue de la Philippine va nous épargner une perte de temps considérable. Donc, je soutiens la proposition. On suspend seulement 5 minutes on ne suspend pas la séance, seulement l'examen de ce DR jusqu'à ce que l'Arménie présente tous ses amendements et le présente au comité un seul package, qu'on décide dessus. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Cuba, please.
Sí, gracias, señor presidente. También apoyamos la propuesta de Filipinas y debemos terminar de definir el lenguaje acordado para el primer párrafo y le pediríamos a Armenia su flexibilidad para ello, pero aprobamos, por supuesto, y apoyamos la propuesta de Filipinas por Palestina.
Thank you, Cuba, and I'm most grateful for all member states who are very helpful to try to come to a solution on that very particular situation which we are facing today. I am most grateful to that, and we are trying to be very constructive. I appreciate your effort, and as you realize, that is a very exceptional situation we are facing today. And if there is broad consensus that we should suspend and let Armenia come with a formal amendment which is duly circulated, I'm minded to suspend this consideration of this particular report at this juncture. But before that, I'll give the floor to Azerbaijan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is actually what my delegation is trying to explain, that first there was a first bunch of the amendments, which we thought that it is the final. Then we saw that according to the paragraph debates, they have more amendments. So we have to get the all amendments and then to give this to the committee for the final decision on this. So I support the proposal of Philippines and Palestine and others, but I can kindly ask you to suspend this meeting just for I don't know, 5-10 minutes, but no more, because we don't want to prolong this issue for another half day or I don't know. So we need to be conscious of the procedures, and let's stick to what is proposed and accepted and supported by the committee. Thank you.
Yes. In light with all members who have intervened and taking note of the mood in among all members present here, I believe that at this juncture we are going to suspend consideration of this report and request Armenia to come with all the amendments which is going to be duly circulated so that we know exactly what are those amendments. And I propose that we move to the next item, and that at the end of all the reports, we'll come back with the report of Azerbaijan, and by then we will have due notice of all the amendments as proposed by Armenia. This will allow us to move efficiently and to know exactly what is the exact situation on that score. I'll give the floor to Armenia, and then we have to take a decision. I don't want that we just drag on that particular issue. Please, Armenia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for your patience as well. So you want us to incorporate our amendments in the draft decision 13.7b1, like to present in one document, not as additional amendments, to incorporate it in one document and present it to you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I thank everybody for being very cooperative and Kuwait, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. But I don't think that was the intention of Philippines. I just want to make sure that was the intention of the Philippines. Please.
Yes, this was the intention of Philippines. Therefore, we suspend consideration of this report, and we are going to take it at the end of the list. Now, may we move? Okay. Before we move to consider the second report.
Okay, at the end.
Okay. Yes. Let us move to the second report submitted by Belarus on right of the Karayadi Tsar, Christmas Tsar. May I have the draft decision up on the screen, please? Can we move towards adopting the decision 13.7b2 as a whole? I see no objection. Adopted. The third report is submitted by Brazil. Yaokwa, the Inawene Nawe people's ritual for the maintenance of social and cosmic order. Do we have the draft decision on the screen? Any amendments being proposed? I see none. Decision 13.7b3 is adopted. The fourth report is submitted by France on Cantu in Pagela, a secular and liturgical oral condition of Corsica. We have the draft decision on the screen. Can we move now to adopt decision 13.7b4 as shown on the screens. I see no objection. Adopted. Now we move to the fifth report submitted by Guatemala on non-pache ceremony. May I have the draft decision up on the screen, please? Can we adopt decision 13-B5 as shown on the screen? No objection. Adopted. The sixth report is submitted by Kenya. Traditions and practices associated with kayas in the sacred forest of Mijikenda. The draft decision is on the screen. Can we adopt decision 13-7B6 as shown? No objection. Adopted. The seventh report is submitted by Kazakhstan on Ala Kiyiz and Shridak, art of Krigev, traditional felt carpets. Sorry for the pronunciation. May I have the draft decision on the screen? Now it appears on the screen. Do we adopt it? Any objection? Adopted. The eighth report was submitted by Latvia on Shuitu cultural space. May I have the draft decision? Can we move to adopt decision 13-7B8 as a whole? No objection. Adopted. The ninth report is submitted by Mali on Sakemon, collective fishing right of the Sanke. Draft decision 13-7B9. I see no objection. Adopted. Report from Mauritania on Moorish epic Tidine. Report, draft decision 13-7B10. Can we adopt it as a whole? No objection. Adopted. We have 4 reports from Mongolia. May I ask the committee to adopt as a whole the first decision of Mongol Tuili Mongolian epic as shown on the screen. These are under decision 13-7B11. No objection. I therefore declare decision 17-7B12 adopted. No. C'est bien ça? C'est 12 et ici c'est 11.
Which one did you just do, sorry?
Celui-là.
Yeah, okay, so to adopt it.
11 et 12.
It's 11.
It is 11. 17-7B11 adopted.
No, leave this. B13. On est le 11, maintenant 12. You can see there.
Okay. 17-7B11 adopted. May I now ask the committee to adopt as a whole the decision on Mongol BLG, Mongolian traditional folk dance, as shown on the screen. Decision 13-7B12. Any objection? Adopted. Moving on the third report from Mongolia on traditional music of the zoo. May I have the draft decision, please? Decision 13-7B13. I see no objection. Adopted. The last report submitted by Mongolia on Mongolian calligraphy. We have the decision, the draft decision on the screen. No objection. Adopted. The 15th report was submitted by Uganda on Mpakao tradition of the Buturu, Banyoro, Bantuku, Bantakwenda, and Banyabindi of Western Uganda. Can we move now to adopt Decision 13, COM7B15? No objection, adopted. The report from Vietnam on Katuru singing. Any objection? I therefore declare Decision 13, COM7B16 adopted.
We have to suspend. We move to item 8. We have to suspend. We cannot do the chapeau yet until we come back since Armenia is not ready.
At this juncture, we will have to suspend this item, awaiting that we take a decision on the report of Azerbaijan. And we have therefore to move to the next item on the agenda, awaiting further development for Azerbaijan.